ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to. Welcome back to Insanity Check, where accidents happen.
Yes.
I am Ken. This is
Skillet Sauce.
And we're back today.
With the
as you
same
saw,
color background.
No, we have this
Different color background.
different color.
But I'm dressed the same.
Because you're a bum.
God damn.
So last week's show, so you appreciated our call-in guest, Storm from Super Duper Handball. What was it called again?
Primetime Handball,
Primetime Handball.
and Planet Storm.
Planet
Check them out on
Storm.
YouTube.
Yeah. Good segment we had. It was good.
Yeah.
So we promised you we're going to get back to. Well, again, if you mentioned, remember Storm had he thought we got a little bit a bit away from some of the serious topics that we tackled, and we tackled a really serious one last week.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I guess overall, because we did tackle sort of the Ferguson stuff and the thing with the police,
Right.
But overall, I understand, yeah.
So we had some goodies for you here, and we'll get to them. But we're gonna start off with a little bit more some more serious stuff, stuff that once again we have covered in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's becoming more and more noticeable. We're talking about the changing landscape of real estate and gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn is becoming unrecognizable.
And just on the word gentrification by itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know what it's supposed to mean, but I'll read it to you, the textbook definition: the buying and renovation of houses and stores in deteriorated urban neighborhoods by upper or middle income families or individuals, thus improving property values, but often displacing low income families and small businesses. That's what it's supposed to mean. What it really means is white people are coming to take over your neighborhood. Period. That's what it always boils down to. And it's not like, we had a discussion earlier, and I told the guy I don't necessarily blame the individuals themselves when they move in, because, hey, if I can afford to buy something and I want to move over there, okay, So I say, the individuals themselves are more like bullets that are being fired from a gun who is being held by a hand that is not by their design on the ground level. So I don't hate any of the individuals, but that's what it means. That's what it means. And well, you read your part and I read my part, because this is something that really I have firsthand experience with a lot of this stuff. So
again, obviously, we live in New York, we live in Brooklyn, we do our show from here, and again, we're seeing firsthand the transformation taking place, and the massive gentrification that started about when the last real estate bubble
burst. It was like, okay, it started in Williamsburg in the 2002, 2003, where it
was Brooklyn Heights first.
Well, I mean, we were talking about far, but I'm saying, yeah, you're right.
That's where the explosion, the rent explosion that took place in Manhattan sent the Manhattanites
right across the bridge.
Right across the bridge, into Brooklyn Heights, which is right across the bridge from Manhattan.
And it hit Dumbo and all that stuff.
Right, and then it just started spreading up towards Bed-Stuy and Williamsburg.
And because you're right, the crowd that went over to Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo were not the hipster crowd.
No,
they were just,
the
rich motherfuckers with the families and all the rest of that stuff that just wanted to just move across the water. The hipsters were the ones that jumped into Williamsburg and stuff like that. And our good friend from California, Burrell, sort of had his own impression on why this happened, is because of the tax incentives that New York City has for tech companies. Whereas they don't have to pay taxes, I believe, for 10 years if they put their tech startup and stuff here.
Yeah, I remember
so that's why you have all of these, I guess kids, I guess millennials or whatever of a certain age that are all graphic designers and all this kind of programming and all that kind of stuff like that, because of how many tech companies are in New York City. But be that as it may.
So, but it's not the only place that is happening. Actually, Burrell was mentioning that it's happening out in California. So there's an article here in the Atlanta Black Star, 10 U.S. cities where gentrification is happening the fastest. Some of these were a little bit surprising. Like the first one, Portland, Oregon. Once the heart of Portland's African-American community, Northeast Portland is now actually only 1/4 black, down from 75% in 1990, according to the Portland Pulse gentrification.org. Then you have Chocolate City. Washington. It was called Chocolate City. That was the nickname for Washington, D.C. Here's an example of how this drastically some of D.C.'s neighborhoods have changed. Census tract 87.1, which covers much of Eckington between North Capitol Street Northeast and 2nd Street Northeast, had a maintained value of $414,000 in 2013, according to the Washington Post. That represents a 158% increase after inflation from the median home value in 2000. In 2000, only 20.6% of adults in the portion of Exton had a college degree. In 2013, it's 38.1%. Anyway, so you have Minneapolis and then Seattle. In Seattle, the beloved art house cinema Harvard exit in Capitol Hill section of Seattle is closing, sold off to a developer to make way for high-income housing. Protests are popping up, big and small, out of concern over the drastic neighborhood changes. And, you know, over here in New York, gas stations and fast food restaurants are disappearing like every month. And it's usually either some type of strip mall or, more likely, high-rise luxury condo, luxury apartment buildings are being put in. In one project in Lower Brooklyn, not Lower Brooklyn, but close to downtown, Myrtle Avenue.
The Fort Greene Projects.
Fort Greene Projects. Everything those people had is gone. Their supermarket, fast food restaurant, whatever corner stores, all gone.
And the, you know, that's just brilliant strategizing, because if you think of it, you can't just go and, well, my story has to do with people trying to actually thug people out of their places, but this, they just starve them out. I mean, because if you're a low-income family and you want to feed your kids, you know, I won't eat KFC because obviously, you know, I don't like fast food and shit like that. But for some people, you know, $5 to get a whole meal that could feed, I guess, one adult or two kids, if your economic circumstances are such to where that's all you can afford and they will be full, to have that as a resource, if you want to call it that, is something that could save lives. It could sustain you. Yeah. You know, the local supermarket where you can get unorganic fucking chicken wings, and you can have like 20 chicken
monster pterodactyl
big giant wings with the hairs on them that you got to burn off and the whole shit. You know, but whatever. You know, if $5 is going to get you 20 wings or whatever uncooked, it's necessary. I mean, you remember in D.C. Murray's.
Oh my God.
I mean, there was about 10% meat and 90% whatever the fuck. I mean, literally Murray's hot dogs would explode. Them shits were like, there was so much filling and stuff in there, the shits would burst.
Murray must have been the first name of the CEO of Exxon.
Yeah, I'm serious. or Monsanto. I don't know what the fuck. But the point is, down in those projects, they were like, how can we get these people out? And they made it almost impossible for them to feed themselves with their particular budgets.
So whereas their supermarket was right across the street from the projects, that's gone.
Yeah.
Now the closest one
that they can afford. I mean, because it'll be replaced with some artisan fucking shop where you're going to buy something, you know,
where you'll probably take $150 to $200 to get you the same amount of food that $50 got in the last supermarket.
Yeah.
So now these people have to go 5 blocks up a hill.
Yeah.
For the closest supermarket that they can have. Again, corner store, fast food restaurant.
Everything was wiped out.
Wiped out. Okay. Anyway, but you get the idea. Atlanta, you know, Virginia Beach.
Atlanta. Now, Atlanta, you know how many black people left New York in the 90s?
Migration. That was the last migration of the colored folk.
Because people were like, yo, every other day somebody's getting shot in their fucking face in New York, which is the truth. Everybody's getting just lit up. So they're like, yo, we got to get the fuck out of here. And, you know, one of our homies was telling us about, you know, back then, remember, it was like $100,000 would get you a house. Remember, he was like, yo, you could have the house built. Mm-hmm. Forget, you know, buying it. You could, with $100,000, you could have the house built to your specifications. And it was a big, palatial, giant house, like the kind of house that you would see on, you know, the rap dudes videos and stuff like that. But this is a regular house for a person of basic means. You know, a person has a decent job and get a decent loan. Over. Get out. Get out.
We have Denver, Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas. City records show that by 1932, the entire black population of Austin had moved to what was dubbed the Negro District. Now that neighborhood, that very same neighborhood, the Negro District, is quickly being transformed with 40% whites and more than 40% Latinos now occupying the area that has priced out the original black occupants.
No. Are we going to touch on that racist thing that you wanted to show?
The chart?
Yeah, the chart.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the reason I want to go for that is, I made my statement that I made earlier. And I know there's probably some white people out there that's like, shut up, you're a racist.
Hi,
Speaking of
white
me,
people.
I'm a racist, whatever they may say. But put it this way. Out of every demographic, right, if you have an established white neighborhood, i.e., let's say Brooklyn Heights, an established white neighborhood, and let's say a bunch of blacks that came into money, let's just say hypothetically, a whole bunch of blacks that came into money and was like, listen, we want to take over that neighborhood. Okay, so Mr. Landlord and developer and whatever, what you gonna do for us? We all got crazy money. Let's take over that neighborhood. It's not gonna happen. You wait for a listing to open up is what they're gonna say. But when white people want to take over a neighborhood, that shit somehow, and I make a joke. These neighborhoods, I think some people think that everyone in these neighborhoods over a 3-year period all decide that, hey, Sanchez, hey, Ramirez, hey, Jones, hey, Jenkins, hey, what's going on? I think we all just want to leave this neighborhood, even though we've been here 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, kids had kids in this neighborhood. No, we all just want to up and move in a 3-year span to clear the way for these new individuals to come in. Because it doesn't happen. You can't get a bunch of Asian people that's going to go take over a white neighborhood. You certainly can't. Black neighborhoods trying to take over a neighborhood. They calling in the National Guard. They calling in Homeland Security. It's just going to be a mad assassinations, shooting, killings, everything. You can't get Latinos to go take over a white neighborhood. But white folks can take over any neighborhood they want. If there's not availability, when you see what I'm going to when you hear what I'm going to read, the availabilities will be made to be available. That's what it is. I know that sounds ridiculous, but yeah, they will create availabilities. If there's none there, they will create them. But there's no racism.
Not according to white folks, anyway.
No.
According to, once again, the Atlanta Black Star. Them damn Black Stars. 10 charts that really put the severity... Excuse me. Start it again.
Sucking dick.
10 charts that put the severity of racism in America into perspective. Supernatural beliefs. According to these, I assume these were surveys that were done. For white folks, percent who felt in touch with the dead, 29%. Percent who claimed they interacted with a ghost, 17%. Percent who felt that there is discrimination against black people, a lot of discrimination, 16%. So, what that means,
16% says there's a lot, and 41% says there's some.
But basically what that says is that more white folks believe in talking to dead people than there's a lot of discrimination against black people.
Say that again slowly so people can understand that.
More white folks believe
that they can talk with Abraham fucking Lincoln. More white people believe they can talk to Abraham Lincoln.
And that they've had contact with a ghost than that there's discrimination against black people. A lot of discrimination.
A lot of discrimination. We're going to put all these charts up so you can see all of this shit. This shit is hysterical. This shit is ridiculous. I mean, just, when I read that, I said, you know what, this makes no... It's easier for you to believe that you have had direct experience and contact with an apparition than it is to believe that maybe, just maybe, black folks is onto something when they just wind up getting shot down in the streets, when white people don't get shot down in the streets over the same type of shit. That neighborhoods are being basically purged to get rid of all the niggeras and the Latinos and shit like that. That's hard for them to believe. That's hard for them to believe. But to believe that, yes, I did speak to my great aunt, whatever the hell, and she told me to keep it moving forward, and my husband's a good guy, or my business is going to thrive. Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here.
So here's a nice little ditty. Media net worth by race, spanning 1984 to 2009. black families, their median net worth was $5,781 in 1984, and we moved on up to $28,500 in 2009. 2009, mere 6 years ago. In 1984, 1984, white families, median worth $90,851. They moved further on up to the east side. In 2009, $265,000. So the gap between white and black families in 1984 was $85,000, and basically today you could say, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the gap is $236,000.
No, as blacks, we just lazy. You know, we don't want to work for the jobs that might actually pay us more.
Of course, because as proved by our black president,
yeah,
you could do anything you wanted. You just work hard and pull up your bootstraps.
Yeah. We don't want to actually work for anything that might actually pay us a sustainable wage. What the fuck we want to do that shit for, man? We can, work the same amount of hours and make chump change and, go home and watch fucking, BET or whatever. Come on, man. You know what it is. Come on, stop acting like that.
Yeah, I had a discussion with a friend of mine who is a white dude. He's a Republican. In general, he's a nice guy. I mean, he's a friend of mine. We have these debates every once in a while. And I was asking him, like, why is it, at least in New York City, that, like, the fire department, disproportionate amount. So I think the fire department in New York City is like 80-something% white people.
What do you say? Black people can't stand to eat.
we don't want jobs. We don't want the police department. I don't know the numbers, but pretty much mostly white folks. They're more integrated than the fire department, mind you, but still in all. And I'm asking him, like, why is that? He was like, well, dude, do you want to be a fireman? I'm like, no, I don't. But I can do other things. I want to do other things. What about the thousands and thousands and thousands of dudes, of black people, who would willing to do it, who came to the same decision as all those white officers and all those white firemen, that, you know what, I can do that job. I want to do that job. I want the security of that job. I want the benefits of that job. Why can't they get that job? Okay. What else we got here? Change in average family wealth from 2007 to 2010.
Yeah, you're gonna love these.
So from 2007 to 2010, the black, non-Hispanic, average family wealth dipped by 31%.
Oh, it went down.
The Hispanic dipped by 44%.
Ooh, shit. Damn.
And because there's an economic crisis, the white man's dipped by 11%.
Ooh.
Home equity, the white man 24%.
We're talking about dipping.
Dip. Black man 28%. The Hispanics minus 41. Retirement, black man dipped 35%. Latino 18%. Somehow the white man's climbed 9%. The white man's just smarter than us. He just knows how.
I was about to say. I mean, we can't stop drinking them 40s and watching BET. So we get what we get. Oh my God! I mean,
but go ahead, man. What?
Well, one of my, I'm Skillosaurus here, but obviously that is not my God-given name. And one of the jobs that I've had in this city was a realtor, real estate agent. And I've never had a job that affected me so much to where I actually took it home and felt like dirty and disgusting and other things because of some of the things that I've heard directly from landlords who didn't see my race. They just said, well, you're an agent. Okay, cool. You want someone to accept you for your ability to do a job. But then, in the same breath, they would say, you don't bring no black people to this building. I don't care what they make. And we had a situation when I was first brought into the business to where it was clearly steering. This woman wanted this building. She said she grew up in the building, and the woman worked for the UN. She had enough money to basically buy the building. And myself and the other agent at the time that was being brought into the system went to the store to get something. When we came back, the broker that was sponsoring us was being cursed out by the landlord. And he was like, don't you ever, ever, ever bring one of those people here again. And I'm thinking, well, number one, this was a black woman. It wasn't like she was a guy. We know they can't, they got to shoot us in the street because we're ninjas, like I said, that can kill you with anything. But no, she was a black woman, no children, worked at the UN, impeccable bank account, credit score above 800. Dude didn't want, because he said she might have, and I'll never forget this, she might have some kind of social gathering and might have some of her friends over, which may have melanin. And he didn't want the people around in the buildings, other buildings they owned or whatever, to see a bunch of black people congregating, even if they were being well behaved, because he felt that the property value would drop. So don't ever bring one of them people here again. That was my own personal experience. I had another experience that literally brought me to tears. It was a young black man, his fiance, who was pregnant, and his grandmother as his co-signer, guarantor. And the guy worked at a shoe store. He was doing everything he was supposed to do, but he knew that his credit score, because he was just building it up, was only like, I think, 650 or something like that. So he brought his grandmother, and she brought all of our paperwork, and I knew no matter what they showed me that I couldn't rent to them. They could afford it with the co-signer, but I couldn't rent to them. And I felt so terrible because I had to sit there and lie to them and say, don't worry, there's a few other people that are, applying, but, if you make it, I'll call you and let you know. And it made me feel dirty and disgusting. But here's about some other dirty motherfuckers over there. And this was in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Back in the days, I used to have to lie and say it was East Williamsburg because Williamsburg had gentrified and everybody was all hip over there. And Bushwick was like, oh, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. So we would lie and say East Williamsburg, But now you can proudly say Bushwick, and Miley Cyrus is doing shit there and everybody, oh, where's Bushwick, Bushwick, Bushwick. When I was in Bushwick in 2006, 7, 8, there was a lot of Latino people there. Well, they had to get the fuck out. And here's how. Landlord bribed building inspectors to evict Bushwick tenants. And it says, scene of the crime, and it shows you that the house is 1249 Jefferson Avenue, where prosecutors say a building inspector falsely evicted tenants in exchange for a bribe from property managers. 5 building inspectors worked on behalf of slumlords in Williamsburg, Bushwick, and Bedford-Stuyvesant to evict tenants under false pretenses and erase code violations on dozens of properties for tens of thousands of dollars in bribes, prosecutors allege. The charges came out of the massive bribery bust on Tuesday, this was a couple of weeks ago, that netted 49 building inspectors, property managers, landlords, and contractors alleged to have participated in an array of schemes to gloss over building infractions, strong-arm renters, and hush up construction accidents in exchange for favors and cold, hard cash. A Brooklyn legal service attorney who represents tenants in housing court said that the staggering 26 indictments show the need for greater oversight in the borough's overheated real estate market. So it goes on to basically show how they had wiretaps and everything to catch these inspectors. And this is what I meant when I said, do people honestly think that these people got out on their own, so they can now, turn the neighborhood into whatever they want to turn it into, they meaning the landlords or the people that are the new inhabitants, whatever you want to call them. And this is how it happens. It says, when you have people on the take, those laws are not going to be enforced and tenants will not be protected. And it goes on to talk about incidents at this particular place at 1249 Jefferson and how this is like a comedy show. When the guy took the bribe to go in there for 1249 to scream, it turns out that he had the wrong address. So he had went to a building, shouted out, you people got to get out in 72 hours or the sheriff's going to come throw your shit into the street. And it turns out that he misread the information, when he was on the phone or whatever, and they was telling him this is where you got to go. And he had to go back, apologize to those people to go to the proper building to scream and lie to those people to get those people out. And they're doing things like, also, we had covered it briefly but they're pickaxing people's apartments apart over there in Bushwick and Ridgewood now. They're saying, oh, well, we got to fix your place, okay? Because if you fix your place, oh, that's like a renovation, and you know they can bump your rent up. Well, they said, well, we got to fix your place, and what they'll do is they'll go there and fuck the whole place up, chop down the walls, break the bathroom down, make the place unlivable. So when you come back, you're like, what's going on here? Oh, well, it took out more work. It was more work than we thought, so we had to gut this and do that. But don't worry about it. We'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. And you have to live in these horrible third world conditions until you can't take it any longer. And then when you finally go, I can't keep going to a neighbor to use the bathroom and to shower, they were giving them buyouts of basically $7,500, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Where the fuck are you going to go in this city with that as your relocation money? Because let's just say you do get another apartment, they give you $10,000 cash. You're not going to be able to live in whatever place beyond 2 months. If your income was such to where you could afford the $600 a month apartment that you had, which was rent stabilized for the longest time, you go to a new place and it's tripled, if not more, that money is going to be going in like 1 or 2 months. But see, here's the thing. When you get all of those people out, what they can do is they can make it a free market building. And free market building is like if they get everything over $2,500 per property, the scheme, see, it's really slick how they do things. If they can get the rent roll for each, if they can get each apartment at a certain level and get the rent roll at a certain level, they can become a free market building and they can charge whatever they want. So they just basically bump rent stabilization out. But they have to get rid of everybody. And that's what I once said about white folks that are moving in. Don't you feel bad? Because if you know that this cup costs $10 at Dwayne Reed to get this cup and get the image printed on it, but when you walk in, it's all of a sudden $40, don't you yourself feel fucked up that you're being fleeced?
But again, and not to defend the white man, but do they know this? And this is what I was trying to explain to you guys.
No, some of them do now. Some of them do now.
But
some of them do now.
The whole thing, this is what I was trying to explain to my friend, what I just mentioned earlier, and to other people. I'm like, this is not a problem that white people have to face. So they very well probably don't know this. All they know is that this shit costs a lot of money, and I could afford it.
True.
What else in their minds do they have to investigate? Nothing. Oh, this is a new building. Okay, I see why this costs, $2,500 a month. I see why this is a $3,500 apartment. Because I got my doorman, I got my gym downstairs, Starbucks is right next door, and the train station is right across the street.
And that's the whole thing.
Of course it costs $3,500. Thank you. Oh, well, yeah, I guess other people can't afford it, but I can.
Yeah.
And that's all I need to know. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know anything else.
If you're a person of color that might be low income or whatever, and you happen to be unfortunate enough to live near a train station,
that's your ass.
That's your ass. You are screwed. If all of a sudden they put gardens at the end of whatever neighborhood you live in, that's your ass. Because when they said Crown Heights was Lefferts Gardens, I'm like, ain't no fucking gardens in Crown. Oh, shit. I guess maybe there are now when I start looking around. Not literally. Yeah, Lefferts Gardens.
I thought Lefferts Gardens was someplace else.
Man, get the fuck out of here. Lefferts Gardens is right over there by the parade grounds, over there by Parkside.
Yeah.
That ain't no goddamn Lefferts Gardens. What the fuck is Lefferts Gardens? What the fuck is Lefferts? Get out of here with that bullshit. Just like, remember they was trying to say Bed-Stuy was Stuyvesant Heights. They was trying to push that bullshit. Get out of here, man. I don't know what the hell you talking about, but that sounds better.
The good one is Spring Creek, where
motherfuckers used to get lit up.
Blazed.
That's where the ghost that the white people are talking to, that's where they all reside, because there was nothing but mad shootouts in East New York. All you need to do is say East New York, and anybody that's known Brooklyn for years know what that means.
And download Death Wish 3.
Yes. Well, look at Death Wish 3. Now, that was a fictional East New York as far as in the actual, shots and stuff like that. It was half Hollywood or whatever. But that movie was ridiculous, over-the-top violence because of the they went overboard. But East New York was not a place that you wanted to fuck around with. You didn't want to go out there. And what do they call it now? Spring Creek? Fuck out of here.
And of course, you're probably saying to yourself, but why wouldn't you want all the crime and pestilence and ignorance out of the to be gone? Yeah,
Of
we
course.
would.
Of course. I don't want to get shot.
But we'd like to be around to enjoy it.
That's the point.
And we can't.
And now it's like, okay, you've made it so where the families that live there can no longer live there. And I think of this, it's like, remember everyone wanted to go out to the burbs because the cities was too wild. Now that's reversed. Everyone's going from the burbs into the cities. So now the whole service industry in this fucking city is all minorities, for the most part. Now, clearly there are some whites and Asians and shit like that. Whites that's doing the shit, but
Slav from the Slavic countries that are coming.
Yeah, but basically, you got those are lower income positions, like, the dudes that clean up in the hospitals, the whatever, it is what it is. Okay, now these people can't even live because they could always go, you know what? Life is hard. I don't make a lot of money, but I could always live in this neighborhood, and this neighborhood can hold me down. They don't even have that anymore. So now they're going to have to travel even farther to wash the floor or to clean the toilet or to flip the burger. And this shit is it angers me, but I don't want to let myself turn into just some wanton racist, go, you white folks are devils and those bullshit like that, because it's a bigger machine than that. It's just money, and they just see green. So I don't want to go that route, but it's just so unfortunate because...
But just know that there's a system in place. This shit is not an accident.
No.
And the people behind it are white.
When they decided to take the projects, man, and the projects, people didn't do themselves any favors.
Oh, of course.
Because I didn't want to go in no fucking projects. You go in, you never come out. That shit was like with a Roach Motel. You go in and don't come out. I didn't want to go there, but I mean, it served its purpose for the people that could afford it. And I'm not trying to give an excuse pass to wild, ignorant. I won't speak about the other minorities, but I'm only going to speak about black minorities. Ignorant, foolish niggardry. I'm not trying to give that a pass. And a lot of them didn't make themselves, good citizens or good people, good neighbors and things like that because of.
Just like a lot of other people, neighborhoods, they're just hardworking people in there.
Yeah.
Who are just trying to survive. I was the sound editor for our goddamn movie, lived in a project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For how much longer? Don't know, because we heard the white man is coming down there too.
So it's there's a lot of impropriety going on here when it comes to this gentrification, and it's literally like a big gigantic train that's coming through, and I'm just saying, okay, fine, you want to just scoop up a neighborhood. A lot of times they don't even like with Carroll Gardens. A lot of those families have been there. Park Slopes, certain parts of Park Slope, the families have been there. So at least they've established a neighborhood. When you come through and you just sample for 2 years and the rent goes up and then you bounce, there was people that needed to live there. That's where they could afford it. Now you didn't even you took it over. That's like me killing a deer, and not eating it, not eating any of it. I just killed it because I just felt like shooting it and putting it on my wall. Now I know that's a really ridiculous, analogy, but it just pains me when you hear people like, oh, this neighborhood is not hitting any longer, so let me go to the next neighborhood. But you done basically made the rent jack up in this neighborhood, and you just gonna bounce, So there's so many layers to this particular onion, but it's just fucked up because being born and raised here to know that it's almost impossible unless you make. Seriously, you better make 6 figures, or you're gonna have a roommate. This basically, you're gonna have a roommate, or you better make 6 figures. You better make 6 figures, and whatever you do get, if you make low 6 figures, you're gonna be in some nasty condo looking box with no character, just white walls and a ceiling and.
Yeah, it's like a character. You'd be lucky if you'd be able to walk around your bed without tripping over shit.
Yeah, but so that's that. It is what it is, and the charts and everything will be up there, so you'll get a chance to actually see this and the stories. We're not just making it up with some evil black man shit. So,
and we're sorry, but that is our show. But once again, thank you all for checking in with us here at Insanity Check. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Again, questions, comments, light it up. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter,
Instagram, all that bullshit.
Yada 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 yada. We will be announcing by the time we come back, we should have our Indiegogo campaign up for a couple of projects that we were totally working on, and we have been working on it. So hopefully it'll be up. We will have the name, the links, and we will have our collars up begging for money. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I am Ken, Skillet Sauce, Insanity Check. We're out.
Take care.